Hey there, sleepyhead. How you doing? I'm not sure what happened either. Well, I have an idea, but I'd like to confirm it with you first. I found you, laying unconscious in the woods, so I brought you here to my home, so I could care for you. Judging by the bite mark you have, it looks like you may have been bitten by a certain snake. Do you remember seeing a snake before you fell unconscious? Well, I've got good news, bad news, and worse news. The good news is that the poison isn't life-threatening, so your life is in no danger. The bad news, though, is that it's paralytic. You won't be able to move mostly, although you can still move your eyes, breathe, and talk, obviously. And the worst news is there's no cure for the poison. You're stuck with it. Well, maybe I worded it weirdly. You can't actually cast a spell on yourself when you're paralysed, obviously. But if you form a certain familiar contract and became someone's familiar, then when that master or mistress casts a spell on themselves, they can share it with their familiar, as if the familiar had cast it on themselves. Does that make any sense? I happen to know a spell that could cure you. So, if you become my familiar, I could cure you of this poison. Well, it's not that simple. Do you truly want to be bound to me as my familiar? When a person becomes a familiar for their master or mistress, they are magically compelled to follow every order they are given. For example, if I wanted you to jump, you would jump on the spot for as long or how many times as I would say, and even if you didn't want to do it, the contract would magically force you to. It's not something that most people would agree to. I'm guessing this is a decision you need to do some thinking about, right? Well, if you're going to maybe be my familiar one day, how about we do some introductions? My name is Crest, and as you can tell from my many tales, I'm a Kitsune, or a fox boy in the most colloquial term. And may I have the pleasure of knowing your name? That's a lovely name. I've already committed it to memory. Oh, are you staring at my tails? No, of course not, don't worry. It's not rude. Well, actually I think most people would find it rude, but I don't mind if it's you. I guess I'll make you a special exception. Do they fascinate you? You know, if you do decide to become my familiar, then we should get more familiar. Am I right? Pardon the pun. But if you want to touch them, then go ahead. They're all yours. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I completely forgot you were paralysed for a second. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. That was really insensitive of me. But if you'd like, I could move my tails across your hand. I'm not sure if you'd be able to feel them, but it's worth a shot. Would you like that? Great. Do you feel this? I'm glad you can at least move your mouth. It's nice to see you smile. You deserve to be happy. You didn't deserve something like this to happen to you. Oh, sorry. Was I talking like I'd know you? Well, I guess in a way I feel like I do. You'd probably think I'm crazy though. Say, do you believe in reincarnation? I do. But rather than believe, I think it would be more accurate to say I know. You see, people have these auras. They're unique identifiers, kind of like fingerprints that only those with strong magical abilities can sense. And yours is the same as my old beloved. You see, now you're on your third life. On your first life, I was your familiar, but then you grew old and finally passed away. Because you are human, and so your life is short, from my perspective anyway. Then, on your second life, fate brought you to me again, and you became my familiar. Now fate has brought you to me once more, and it seems fate would have you become my familiar a second time. I know it sounds crazy, and I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm just telling you what I believe. It'll hurt, but if you can think of me as a stranger, then I don't mind. But I mean, it's better for you that I think you're my sweetheart from your past life, right? That way, I'll be a much kinder master for you if you decide to become my familiar. I know becoming someone's familiar, at least with this specific contract that could cure you, is something that takes a lot of trust. And I know it's not just as simple as saying, just trust me, because that's a suspicious sentence. But I think I have something that might convince you. I still have my diaries. I use them to record all the precious memories I made with you in your past 2 lives. 80 years ago, you cast your first fireball in your second life. You were so proud and excited to finally learn the spell. You couldn't contain your smile as you showed me again and again. It was so cute how you thought it was an advanced spell. Still, it was an important milestone in your education, and I was truly proud of you. I made your favorite that night to celebrate. 100 years ago, in your second life, you were scared because you thought you saw a demon and you had thought it might be after you. That day, there were no demons in a 20-mile radius, because I killed all the ones in a 100-mile radius, just to be sure. I also made sure to stay up all night, keeping watch so you could sleep safe and sound. You always looked so cute when you were asleep. By the way, I offered to go to hell to kill them again, but you said that wouldn't be necessary. You're always so considerate. And let's see, there's this entry and... oh, this one is about your final moments in your past life. I'm sorry, I really don't want to read this one. I really missed you, you know. I know you don't remember anything, but it's impossible for me to forget about you. You're the only one for me. The only one I could ever make a contract with. Definitely. If you become my familiar, I promise I will be the best possible master for you. I'll always protect you. I will never let any animal hurt you ever again. I will not even let mosquitoes land on your skin. I'll burn them to death in flight. All of them, without fail. Maybe you didn't see the outside of my home, but you know this place is built like a fortress, right? It's the perfect place to keep you safe. And you know in the past you had trouble sleeping if you didn't feel safe. If you become my familiar, I'll always watch over you. I mean, watch over you as you sleep, to give you peace of mind. You know, to help you sleep. Yeah. And you know, there are those berries you really like. Maybe you haven't tried them all yet in this life, but I've always made sure to keep a lot of them on hand in preparation for the day I'd finally meet you. And if you become my familiar, you can eat as many as you like every day. And you can do lots of other things too. You can fluff my tails every day. You always used to say you wish you had 9 hands for each one of my tails. And of course, you'd be able to move again. So, what do you say? Will you become my familiar? Really? Are you sure? I mean, I'm overjoyed for you to accept, but it's not a decision to take lightly. Alright then, that settles it. I'll make you my familiar. Now, conducting this contract is really quite simple. Most familiar contracts would require certain inks and signing a physical contract, but the one I'm going to make with you is completely verbal. All you have to do is reply to me, yes I do. Now then, do you accept to become my familiar, now and forever, through sickness and in health? Alright, that's it. You're my familiar now. It seems sort of mundane, right? To an untrained eye, you wouldn't even think any magic happened. But the contract is also sort of romantic, don't you think? It sounds like a wedding vow. Here, I'll cast a healing spell now. Done. I'm a powerful mage, so the effect should be immediate. Go ahead. Why don't you try and see if you can move now? All better, right? I'm so happy for you. It's so nice to truly own you again. I've really missed this. Oh, I hope you aren't offended when I say that I own you, especially since it's the truth now that you're magically bound to me. Well, I was honest, you know. I really do intend to take care of you. I just think that it's easier if you obey me. In your second life, you had wanted familiars besides just me, which would have really complicated my ability to take care of you. So, in that life, I made you my familiar. I think I'm going to keep on making you my familiar in all of your lives from now on. It'll make things much easier for the both of us. Do you doubt that the contract really works? If you'd like, I can give you an order. Let me think. Something that would be easy on you. I can compel you to tell me the truth. So, let's start with that. Now, answer me honestly. Are you thinking about running away? Really? I thought you were at least considering it. I'm so proud of you. I should probably give you an order just in case you change your mind though. I order you to never try and escape from me. You know, I'm really curious about what your experiences have been in this life so far. Tell me, are you single?
Yes, damn right you better be.
Sorry, I couldn't hold it in. But you're a bit mistaken. You're not single anymore, because from now on, you're with me. Do you have any exes, by the way? And theoretically, how would you feel if they died? Okay, that simplifies things. Let's see. I'm a bit scared to ask this next one, and I know you've just met me in this life, but do you like me? Really? How much do you like me? Would you cry if I died? Would you visit my grave every day? Do you think you're going to dream about me? Do you love me more than sleep? Do you love me more than food? If you had to choose between saving me or 100 strangers, who would you save? What about 200? 300? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to make you lose track of the questions. Never mind that. I just got carried away. I should just take things a bit more slowly. We have our entire lives to play catch up with each other. And even when you do die of old age, I'll definitely just find you again and make you all mine. Because it's fate, and I love you too much to let you go. Oh, I just remembered. There is one important question I should ask you. Theoretically speaking, would you hate me if I was the one who sent the snake?